Hey, everybody.
Hello, my loves. Happy holidays. Welcome to Living Your Awakening, show number 15. And this is a show where we offer you guys, all of us really, self-empowering conversations and tools to help you follow your truth, live your heart, live your truth, and embody your awakening. And today we felt like we just wanted to have togetherness and community and be together and just offer holiday support, because we all know it's extra juicy as always. And we want to ask you guys, what do you want to talk about? What do you need? What's going on? How can we support you? And when then you guys start sharing, that'll bring forth guidance and tools and information, for all of us. And I always look at this show like we come to share wisdom, right? And to me, it's like a whole puzzle. And we're all pieces of the puzzle. And when you have the whole puzzle, you have the whole picture. So I always just deeply delight in my heart to be together like this and offer a space of empowerment and just a space to connect and be and feel your truth, and knowing that you're totally welcome, like all of you as you are, and that we get it. We get the stuff that you guys are going through and that you've shared, and it's just so good to be together. I do want to just talk a little bit about also just some 2023 themes that I see coming up, and we'll just dive right in. So I'm Amajam, by the way.
Hi, I'm Michael.
So good to be with you guys. You want to talk about how to call in? And
Yeah, so we're streaming live on Amajam Healing's YouTube site. Unfortunately, in order to interact, you need to go to our website, livingyourowakening.com, and sign up for this, and you'll get a Zoom link that you can then interact. And then on Zoom, you can either hit *9 if you're on a phone, you can raise your hand, or you can type in the questions. So we'll be checking all those throughout the whole thing. Yep. So unfortunately, we haven't worked out a deal so we can check the technology on YouTube. So if you want to just watch, that's fine. But if you want to interact, we'd love for you to interact. Please go to our website and sign up if you haven't done so already.
You want to just dive in?
Yeah, let's dive in.
So before I go to you guys to see what's up, what you want to talk about, I just want to share just one little slice of the pie that I see happening in 2023 is, and this is always every year, we just get more, we go through our awakening more and more, we empower who we are more and more, we have to follow our truth more and more. Everything that is not our highest, truthiest vibration will come up to clear and heal and transform and align, right? You guys know the deal. So next year, 2023, a really, really more deeper theme. I'm calling it Be Your Own Guru. The energies next year are really calling forth. It's like this image of like, it's opening us. I don't know why this image of like a clam. We're a clam that's opening and the pearl is inside. Pearl's always been there. But as a human being, we go through this process, right? To like the human being awakens to the pearl that's already there, right? And so the energies next year, there's so much going on in just different ways, as always, that us being who, I don't even want to use the words who we really are, right? Because that sentence is just old AF, even though we have to use it. But really empowering yourself in your own teacher and really digging deep for that pearl and that inner guru, and how we like approach life has to be from this really true place. And every day and every year goes deeper, 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 deeper. So all the work we've been doing paves the way for us to hear and find and feel that inner guru, that inner teacher, the inner wisdom again, that pearl that's just always, always, always been there anyway. And the human awakens to it. It finds it. And so I just keep seeing this image of this kind of solid alignment with ourselves. We're like, And the idea of our guidance and the idea of clarity is not that. It's not an idea. Because the mind has all kinds of ideas of what it's like to be in our own inner guru, right? But you'll find it. It's a feeling, it's a way of living, it's a way of being that has nothing to do with something that we can plan or figure out. And so life next year will really be bringing us into that more than ever. And it's a feeling. It's like this aligned feeling. And it doesn't mean we don't go back and forth and we don't have emotions and we don't get identified again, right? It's this dance, but it's like we're going deeper, we're going more. And the other thing I want to say, and I don't like doing future stuff. It's never been my thing because anything can change. But the one thing that is staying consistent for me is April next year seems to be quite a catapult in this empowerment and a catapult and a shift in this awakening that we're going deeper into. And so it's like January, February, March, April, we're kind of all getting ready for this massive, just this deepening. We could call it heaven on earth more deeply, connection more deeply, living the heart more deeply. Because to me, the fifth dimensional, quote unquote, thing is just living from the heart. I like to simplify stuff, right? It's so easy to talk about all the things, right? And sometimes it's important to talk about all the things, but I feel like for us to be in our practical spirituality is to take all the things and feel, well, what does this really feel like for me? And for me, fifth dimensional ways of being and energy is heart. Heart, 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 heart. And so next year, there's all these different frequencies coming in that we haven't experienced yet. So it's quite an embodiment year, is what I want to say. So I think that's all I want to say for now. Do you want to say anything about next year that you feel, or do you want to just dive into what Peeps got to say?
I said let's just dive in. I mean, I have stuff to say, but I think it's later.
So I'm going to go to Barb first. And you can unmute.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
I didn't even have my hand raised yet.
It was raised. Somebody done raised your hand.
Oh my God. So vibed.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Oh my God. You know, I told you I'm purging the rest of this month. And all of a sudden my family has found me again.
Oh.
And well, because my mom died.
Oh.
So we're official orphans now, last September. And
right. I remember you telling us that, and you didn't know if you were going to go home or, yeah.
And they want me to come back and live in Olathe, Kansas. And that doesn't feel safe to me on any level.
Mm.
And what you just said about April getting really firmed up in your own knowingness and alignment helps me, because I'd rather timeshare hop for finding places for $50 a night until, things get worked out. But then a part of me says, am I not opening my heart again to them? And is that my mission, to harmonize my family? But it's never worked out good for me.
Dang, sister, those are such good. I mean, to me, this is it. This is life. This is life, right? And it has all the layers. And so this image of like, well, I know it doesn't feel safe for me right now. And do I need to open my heart a bit more, I wonder? And it's like it's all of it, right? Like there's not maybe just one answer. And Spirit's saying like the safer we feel with ourselves inside, the safer we feel to have things not black or white. We can approach that gray spot. And then you'll totally know. Like, I know you'll know. You know. But yeah, to me, this is life. Like, this is it. Everything you just spoke about is it. It's exactly it.
Yeah. I would rather, get out of the rock that I've been into and the small life and then just open up and then maybe go dip my toe in and go visit them instead of throwing myself into the unknown with them and being somewhere where I don't know that's going to be particularly healthy for me by the end of January. And even though part of that is comforting that I know I won't be in my car, the same token is I don't know if the place is toxic free for me, the actual apartment. Because what they tell my family and what they tell me are two different things. So I know all this is my creation and all the stuff is coming up to a head to love and heal.
And move forward.
It's just that.
Yeah, and how do you it's like a Lego set.
Yeah.
How do you deal with one Lego and then another kind of all at once?
Yeah. And I'm not used to balancing so many different things at the same time.
Oh, that's so interesting because it's like I have 100,000 gazillion% faith in you that you know this already because everything you shared on the show. So it's like, oh, really? You don't? Like you don't know the balancing thing? Because it seems to me you've been doing just fine.
Yeah, I would say, I guess my comment would be simply just the fact is, the lay of the land all the way around.
Yeah.
I mean, because you just described it. So you're pretty clear about what the reality of it is. Now it's just a matter of sorting through what's true and then
walking through it.
When you're in that situation, that if it's true to go there and it's toxic, is about really setting up really clear boundaries, knowing what's your energy and what's not your energy, and doing your best really just to navigate that and stay in your heart, but also be clear about your boundaries, right? Because that's always the dance. Because sometimes it's true to enter the lion's den.
Oh, I always love that about you guys. You always know what the right answer is.
Well, I don't know. It comes.
Yeah, it comes. I mean, we're channeling, obviously.
Well, and really, it's like you bring it through. Like the answer's there, and then it. Yeah. Right.
Again, I think a lot of what we're talking about too with this is going to be. It's like with all the stuff with spiritual. It's about being in the truth, but it's also approach, right? So it's how you approach the situation. With your family, it's like knowing the reality of the situation, and if it's true to be there, but just knowing that, and then again how you approach it, because you approach it with you putting on your oxygen mask first and taking care of you and setting appropriate boundaries, even though other people may not like it. But that's the dance. That's the thing is spirituality on paper and spirituality. In life. That's
why I was saying what she's describing is this is exactly life.
Yeah. I mean, so that's part of that's navigating how to be spiritual in a live wire situation.
Ready and go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's part of it. Like, how do you do it? And the thing is do your best. Understand that, sometimes it's going to need adjustment, and just make those adjustments be as easy on yourself as you can be. Because man, family is people have always said is if you want to know how free you are, just spend some time with your family.
Yeah.
That's always a good metric for, how embodied you are and how free you are. I mean, it's just challenging because they know you know them, there's a reason why you incarnated with those people. So it's it's for your growth, right? It doesn't always seem like that in the trenches.
Yeah. And you have you now more than ever.
Yeah. I think that's the secret.
Yeah,
right?
and every time you share with us, that's what I feel like. Yourself is just fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank you, love.
Well, thank you for holding up a mirror for me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to read. Let me just do. Okay, I'm going to read what Erin says. Hi, guys. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to you. I have a big weight issue that's been climbing and climbing the last few years and bothering more and more, up to 220 now. I've done different things that don't budget so far. I have been using the tools that you taught for my pain issues that keep coming up with 100% success. Yeah. And have been focusing them on the weight also, but wondering if you have any additional suggestion for me of the weight problem specifically. I do. So I'm going to ask you, this is where live is so good to be with you guys live. I'm going to ask you, and this is not like the root cause, but it's coming up because the root cause will be, quote, emotional. You know, it'll be some fear of being yourself, right? That's what everything boils down to, really, at the end of the day, fear of being who we are, right? But there's this one spot that's coming up right now of, let's see, do I want to tell you this or do I want to have you feel it out? I think I should ask you the question. Let me ask you this. Do you feel in your heart that your weight issue is 100% coming from Earth life? So where you start to go, because I watch you, where you start to go, some of this protection or some of this energy that's not budging is up there. Yep. You own it. And then it's just investigating, like, what is this weird thing? You know, because it's one thing when we deal with just an emotion, like happy, sad, fear. It's another thing when we, as you guys know, we deal with this like esoteric, otherworldly, past life, not Earth experiences. And it just feels weird, right? It's not your normal. The mind has a hard time understanding and like knowing what to do. And so for me, when I don't understand something, but I feel it or I see it, I just stay really present with it until it starts to show itself to me. So that's what I want to say. I would venture elsewhere, like you are, with inquiry, like where else is this energy coming from? Like if it's not as simple as weight, right? Or food or emotional work, even though this will be emotional work too, but what else is holding these things in place? And this is a question we can always ask ourselves really about anything that we're going through. What else is holding this in place, I wonder? But I would do exactly what you're doing now, like start investigating these places that you're connecting to now. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm going down the same vein that you are. I mean, it's protection. And it feels like it isn't as esoteric. I mean, I think that's a question that you can ask. That's something in terms of topic that we have not got into in terms of, is it Earth? Is it not Earth? Right? As a sort of a binary. Because usually when it's not Earth, it has a very kind of, because it's foreign, so it has a funky feeling that you just can't quite put into the physics of Earth, is the best way I know how to put it. Because it just has a different, not that the physics don't apply, but the physics it's a little bit different. So that's usually like a clue. And that just gives you a different place to sort of focus your investigation to figure out what that is. I'm just, because I think that's where it begins. I'm just trying to see if there's something else that's other layers that are accessible.
Yeah, when you use the word begins, it's like, yeah, your weight issue did not start in this life. It's protection layers.
Yeah, the word that comes up for me, and a lot of times I intuitively get words, and something to look at is the word that comes up for me is enslavement. So to look at where in the past you've been enslaved, to like really reconcile that. So a lot of times, you know, all of us probably experienced enslavement at some point in some of our past lives. And so that has a profound effect, because a lot of times you're just going to like protect yourself, or it's going to really affect you presently. So a lot of times what you can do, if that feels true for you, is that you have that, is to just bring your awareness to where you feel that, and then making the conscious choice to unenslave yourself. That's a really powerful thing, and reclaim your power around, reclaim your power from that event, if it's singular or if it's multiple, because there might be life themes of that where you have a pattern of giving your power away or just being enslaved. So I think that would be worth investigating.
Yeah, it just feels really layered. Past life.
Yeah, I would just say start pulling on the string. This is one of these cases where it's complicated. So start pulling on the string, and one thing will lead to the next thing. And again, all the tools, all the discernment tools are still absolutely valid, whether it's earth, not earth, whether it's this life, past life. And if you don't believe any of that stuff, that's completely fine. The point is what you're trying to do is heal the emotional piece of it. So if you can find the emotional piece of it, or just even feel the energetic piece of it, to literally make choices and literally like, you know what, I feel something, I want to shift this so I don't feel like I'm giving my power away, or where you ask some fundamental questions like, do I need this protection now? Is this rightful for me now? So you can look at it, so you can frame it either way. So the point of view doesn't really matter in terms of, you don't necessarily have to believe in past lives. You don't necessarily have to believe in this kind of weird esoteric. It's more about, again, the measurable piece of this is bringing your awareness into where it feels funky or it feels off, decoding it, making choices, doing anything energetic, like if there's a hooking or if there's anything like that, to actually unhook that, or if there's giving your power away, making choices to not give your power away, and really truly feel that in your body, and then notice how it shifts and how much it shifts, and kind of measure that, because it's very measurable. So this should be something, as you go through each of the steps or each of the layers, just keep following the threads. That's the best I can recommend.
Yeah, and I want to add too, it's kind of hard to describe. And this is just for all of us, for anything that we go through, of what the root is or what something feels like. We don't need fancy psychic sight. We need our feeling. Like fancy psychic sight's great sometimes, right? Sometimes it can be a distraction too. For me, and it's happening way more now, but I remember when it first started happening, I want to say maybe 10 years ago or so, I was sitting with an issue, and I had this really, 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 really deep feeling of what the answer was, but there were no words to it, and there was no image. I just knew. And I was so used to working on all these other layers, or working on all these parts of from all these other places in me. And yet there was this oh my God, I so know what this is. I so know what this is. And I hadn't quite learned how to just beeline and stay with this. And it was really weird at first. I was kind of and my mind was like, I don't know if this is so simple. I can't just go there. I can't just trust this. I got to do all the things. But something deep in me knew I could trust this feeling that I don't know what it is and I can't name it yet. And I would practice for years just going there whenever that would come. Sometimes I do have to do these layers, but when this deep, we could say the pearl shows up, right? This deep truth knows the answer, and yet there's no words and no label, and it's not human language, but my being knows. I practice just staying there and staying there and staying there and staying there and staying there. And that in itself takes me on a journey to heal from there. So I just want to share that too.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is you'll start one place, you might end up somewhere completely different. So just be willing to take the journey and go through the layers, because this is layered. The themes the themes I would say are similar, which is protection, you desiring to be fully, you making a choice. Do you really want to fully be who you are out in the world? Do you feel safe? And to figure out where you're not safe and how to face that. Right. And choosing to face that. Right. So that's kind of thematically, I think, the general themes. And then you can dig into the kind of follow the journey around to kind of just unpick it. And the value of that is that you get to know yourself better. You get to know your energetic system better. You get to make choices, right? This is about you, again, you empowering yourself to you empowering yourself by making choices and implementing, right? We talk about that so much because that's really at the core of it. Even if you just sit and choose to be in your truth, it's the same thing. You're choosing to be in the core of your truth, right? It's the same process. So it's like how you get there, how you get to that peace. I mean, you can just feel in what path is the appropriate path for you.
And to me, choices, like each choice creates my outer world in my life. Choice after choice after choice after choice after choice after choice. And it's like putting a feather and another feather and another feather and another feather and another feather on this scale of, like, Irene wrote about this in the notes, like old self and present self, or old self and awake self, and here's all the old and here's the new. And it's like the more I keep choosing this, more and more and more and more and more, at some point the scale tips. But it is like a feather, because every choice, some may weigh more, some may like be 5 feathers, some may be a brick, some may be just one little feather, but each one adds to the new over and over and over and over. And like you were saying, like, we have these issues specifically, like each one of us, so we can really understand our energy system and understand our consciousness and understand ourselves, of why we've done what we've done, why we've chosen what we've chosen. There's something really powerful about that. Yeah. Thank you, love. And if you want to write back, feel free. So I'm going to go to Heather, and then we're going to go to Destiny. No, am I going to Destiny first? Oh. I think we're going to Destiny first. Hang in there, Miss Heather. Okay, Destiny can unmute.
Hey.
Hi, love.
Hey, guys.
Hey there.
Wow. My throat chakra is really having something going on. I've been doing a lot of healing and clearing in my, I'm learning a lot about my inner my inner children, and
Plural.
how they have, wow, it's a trip. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. How they're the ones, some of them have taken on friendships with beings, and that's part of my interference, is like literally from the inside. And it's a matter of me, oh man. So I'm like doing a lot of working on that. But what I noticed is any triggers that come up just literally make it even more difficult. So I'm having a hard time talking right now, if that tells you anything. So I'm not sure exactly what I need, but I know that my inner children definitely need some support, because I just feel kind of bombarded, and I'm feeling bombarded because they're bombarded. But I don't know so much why they're feeling bombarded, because in truth, I can do all of this myself. I don't need their help. And I'm trying to explain that to them.
I would disagree with that. I mean, first of all, just keep going. And that trigger stuff will, keep falling away as you keep going. Because you're entering into whole new territory, which means whole new triggers, right? Or whole new level.
Then it's a trip, because I'm actually seeing how the triggers are being created. Like, like each day, like right now, today specifically, because I cleared so much today and opened up new territory, I'm seeing how they tend to slip in,
and how it works, right? And like with the little ones who've like befriended these beings, it's like the adult you can, meet your inner ones and be really present with them, and let them lead you. Like your adult self can't just go in and say, hey, you don't need this anymore. Really sit with the inner one of why they chose to connect with these beings, so they can understand and they can lead you of how they can let go. And you can we could say from the side, It's like you're gently letting them know, like, hey, we don't need this anymore. But you can't tell them they don't need this anymore. They have to get it.
Yeah, it's like almost
Right.
like you being the parent to your inner children and holding space and guiding and building trust with them, because obviously they built these relationships for a reason, to feel safe or to feel protected in the environment that you're in, right? So but it doesn't that doesn't preclude you from presently as an adult going in and befriending your inner children to coach them, right?
And it's like a partnership. It's
like a partnership. Yeah.
Sometimes you might need to coach them, and sometimes they may need to let you know what's going on. And it's a lot of patience. And it's like a learned skill of how to be really present with ourselves and let these parts of us tell us what's going on versus us coming in with agenda.
Well, you can just see with just normal kids how much they enjoy that.
The agenda, right?
Right. So
or even us. Like if somebody came to us, let's say we were going to a healer and the healer started like throwing all these ideas at us and wasn't listening, all these tools, we're kind of like, that don't feel good. Like you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's this way of learning how to listen, how to hear, how to feel these parts of us. And it's like a dance. Sometimes you do have to coach, but sometimes it's that, and learning the difference of like, it just takes a lot of practice of learning when you back off and you just kind of hold space for your little one to tell you what's going on, to when you lead.
Right. Yeah. Because at some point you are the adult, right? So it's like, it's the which I'm the wrong person to be talking about parenting because I have no children, but in terms of parenting my own inner children, it is what you're discussing. I mean, at some point it is your adult self, and you hold that space and create the structure
for them
and to listen, but also then provide guidance. And like you said, it's a dance, but that you're holding a space that's such that they feel safe, that then you can, communicate and make that and understand, and then help them see the reality of their choices and what that's bringing presently.
I'm not sure what's going on with my head either. It's like there are times where I notice, and I can just figure out what this is, but there are times where I actually feel like I am the inner child. Like sometimes the inner child, the identity part of it, the mental part of it, like kind of consumes. And I have to like come back to myself and be like, yeah, what the hell? I know, because I start feeling like if there's a being or something and it's trying to control me, and it's like, wait a second, man, I'm not that. You know what I mean? I'm not the child. So I have to keep coming back, because it's almost like I have to mentally come back to myself. I don't know if this resonates with anyone else, but has it been difficult for them to stay in their self?
Well, I mean, that's ultimately your real challenge, right? I mean, that's been your theme from as long as I've ever heard you talk, is like with all the trauma that you've had, whatever that is it's pushing you outside of your body. And so you're really about reclaiming your space and reclaiming your sovereignty and reclaiming you. And, that's the thing, is there's a lot of energies, particularly around you, that have been around you your whole life that really don't want you to change. I mean, they're bound and determined to get you to not change. And so it is on some level a battle. But the thing is you keep fundamentally making a choice of you being your sovereign self and stepping fully into yourself, and
again and again,
of course they're going to challenge you. The thing is, it's about you. That's how darkness works. Darkness says, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" And that's about you getting more and more, choosing and getting more and more solid with yourself, right? This is the process for everybody.
And I like what you said about when something starts to consume you, or something just starts to feel a little off.
Red flag.
Yeah. And now you know.
Now you know what it is.
That much quicker.
Yeah. And so when you feel that red flag, that's when you need to know, hey, something's in my space, something, you know what I mean? I'm not taking up space in my house. I got a window open. Yeah.
Yeah. Today I was like, remember how I mentioned before last time about coming on the call? Well, I know that now. So today it was like, okay, I just did a major clearing. And I know it's not my inner children that are
Exactly.
acting up that don't want me on this call. And I know it's not anything else.
And how do we, exactly, like, how do you know that now? Because you stepped in that pile of shit. Now you know it. Now you know.
So now it's like, okay, so so I was like, I kind of stood up for myself and I was like, all right, so anytime I start feeling this shit, I know that this is actually going to show me that there's something inside of me that is not me.
Exactly. Because your inner children have a frequency. Again, back to the spiritual sommelier, your inner children have a frequency, and these energies, believe me, they will pretend to be your they'll pretend to be your inner children.
They
They'll
love
pretend
doing
to
that.
be you, pretend to be all these stuff. But the thing is, the frequency, the flavor is just
so off.
And that's again where your discernment really comes in to be like, the minute you feel that, like, red flag.
Yeah.
Hello, red
That's
flag.
what we're all getting better at,
and so
right?
That's exactly what we're talking about. So that's what you're getting. That's what you're practicing and practicing and practicing. And as you keep making these choices, it's going to, because you think about where you are now versus where you were, let's say, even 6 months ago, is this knowing is so much more obvious because you're exercising that muscle. So it's a lot of times when we're promoting Amajam's work, we're talking about the idea of the spiritual gym, right? Because that's what this is a lot. It's about exercising that discernment muscle and exercising this sort of, again, like the spiritual sommelier, where you're tasting all these spiritual wines and you're understanding those flavors. So you know, this is my inner child, but this portion is not. And that way you can be really picking, and then you make a choice like, hey.
I thought about you guys today because that's what I was thinking about. I was like, yep, I remember this one. I'm going to do this today. So I thought about you.
So, I mean, again, just a reflection. It's like, hey, you're doing it. You're on it. You're at the gym. It's going to fluctuate. Some days are going to be better than others, but you're there. You're doing it. So pat yourself on the back. Take a moment to celebrate.
Yeah. Thank you, love.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you
Happy
too.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Blessings.
Okay, I'm going to go to Heather and then I'm going to Dana. Okay, Heather.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
I feel like I got my answer from every single person that was before me.
Cool.
The timing, right?
Well, it's funny because I was like, I need to go to Heather. Note, Destiny. Note, Heather. Note, Destiny. Note, Destiny.
Exactly. I was like, go to Destiny.
Go to Destiny. Why do I feel like I've got to go to Destiny?
Yeah.
What's that? What you want to share?
But mine was with, it's like been a bone of contention for years, which is my ability to see through my third eye and basically my psychic abilities and awareness. And so for a long time, I thought it was just me, of course, team shenanigans, being like, oh, they're taking it away, spirit's taking away your ability to see through your third eye. And come to find out it was my inner child, like you guys were just talking about. And then I had to talk with my inner child, and she finally is like, okay, let's do this. I'm not scared. And because it was like 1 foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake. And then I had my other inner child, my teenager, that wanted all these abilities and was like, come on, man, let's get this going. And so I've been reconciling, and it's just like, it's one thing after another, and it's just so many years. And so it's just like, it's like everything that you guys said. It's team shenanigans coming in, doesn't want you to be in your power. It's, I just learned like, hey, it could be off-world stuff that I need to ask about, which that's cool. And, I have the tools that you guys teach, and, how much of this is mine, and I'm constantly releasing, and a lot of it I get is just patience. So there's been lifetimes where you totally like shut this down and didn't want to be a part of it. But I'm just like, enough already.
Well, you just said like so much about like, I've had so many lifetimes of this, and that's what we're all going through in this lifetime. Yeah. Because we're awakening. Okay. It's different than healing. Awakening. We're awakening to the truth of who we are. Like, seriously, That's kind of a major deal. And so all the lifetimes since incarnation number 1 is getting reconciled within ourselves, within our bodies, within our emotions, within our minds, within our world, right? So we're dealing with not just one layer of not wanting to be in our power. It's all layers that are significant to us. And it's like, there are times you're just like, Jesus Christ, again? I just want to go for a friggin' walk and just take a minute, right? And it's just what it is right now. Like, we are like, the finest threads are unraveling.
Yeah.
Right? And like, how do we have patience and keep going? And if we could only, I can hear Spirit being like, if we could only remember actually where we were just even weeks ago or even years ago, to actually have that comparison to where we are now.
Yeah.
And we don't, like, this is where awakening is really interesting, because the truth in us, like that true pearl, that true awake being, it's always present here now, here now, here now. So every time we release something, it's more present, release something more present, release something more present. So it doesn't remember what we struggled with, you know, a year ago, whatever. It's just like always here now, always here now. That's why healing can feel so kind of like we can have these massive experience of healing that we've gone through, and then all of a sudden we're just through it and present again. And then, like, you know, can you remember what you did, you know, 5 hours ago today? Like, it's really hard, right? We have to like work to use our minds to remember. It's just so much easier to be here now. And even though this truth of us is here now, here now, here now, here now, we have like all these lifetimes within our bodies, right, that are healing, like not being in our power.
Yeah.
Like that's all of our themes. Stories are different, or what we're dealing with is different in the issues. But if we always track down when we're healing ourselves, and we always track down to the first nubbin, right? Like, oh, fear being me, right? So yeah, you're just reminding me of like, yes, it is super deep and is super layered. And like, how do we have patience? Because we are healing ourselves of all time, not just one thing. You know, let's just say if we only had this life to deal with, we were only healing our childhood pain, even that would be a lot. Right? Even that's a lot, because we're still realizing, holy shit, like this trauma I had when I was a kid, maybe I wouldn't have called it trauma then, but actually it is trauma. Holy shit. Like, oh my God, I shut my third eye down from my inner child. And yet my teenager wants to be on, like, even that, right? And then we have that plus, like, biggest game show ever, you know? What were you going to say? Sorry.
Heather, what I feel to share with you is kind of first off, because as you're sort of discerning what's your energy and what's not your energy, we haven't really gotten into this in this show, but it's relevant for you specifically, I feel like, is if you scan your spine from behind, notice if you notice like any tiny little, almost like silken threads, you can only barely notice them in the light.
You know what it feels like? It feels like buzzing, angry energy, or I can feel the hooks on my back.
Right.
I can feel them on my spine.
Okay.
They feel like aches and shoulders and in my neck and on my spine.
So those things, if you follow those threads, this is something that in my own healing that I sort of discovered. It's a technique that I've seen being used. Is if you follow those threads out, some of them, they're actually going to go into another universe, that there's actually quite a large mechanism that's running deception and power control. It's really a very, it's actually a really clever way to fuck with people. But anyway, that's relevant for you specifically. So I wanted to bring your awareness there, because I know you have the site for that. That's really esoteric. So for some of you, that might be like super out there, but for you, I think it's relevant. So if nothing else, just brings your awareness, like, hey, and then those choices about those threads. The reason why I bring it up for you is that you understand that this sort of stuff is in play for you. Okay. Because what I find with these silken threads is they seem almost insignificant, but then they go into this other they go into this other universe where there's this whole big mechanism behind it, and it's doing stuff to you. So you're starting to recognize, like, this isn't my energy, but I don't understand where I can't notice where all this big machinery is at. And I'm saying it's being hidden through this. It's being hidden in this sort of other universe is the best way to put it. I don't know. It's cyclically, I mean, what it actually is, I don't know. That's the best way I know how to describe it. Right.
Yeah. I was wondering how to unhook that, and I wasn't quite sure.
Choice. It's literally that simple. So the beautiful thing about this is you can follow that thread, understand the mechanism so you can see that. That's what I want to bring your awareness to. And then where it's connecting in is actually bringing your awareness and really asking questions. Do I want this? Is this appropriate for me now? And then unhooking it or disconnecting it. You'll know how to do that. You just set the intention, and your own guidance will help you unhook that, and then bring your energy in to just patch that space and understand how it got in. Ask the second part of these questions, which is, how did I agree to this in the first place? So that you really fill that space so you're not continuing to do it.
Okay. Yeah. Just recently I got to see my fields like really like super bright white, and all of a sudden it went to this hole in the field, and I filled in the hole. It cut off strings and filaments, and then all of a sudden this head popped through and called me an asshole. So
you're like, I'm on the right track.
Energies are, exactly. That's your sign. Yeah, because usually like these energies, they don't like it. I mean, it's like, I know we're getting a little bit Ghostbuster-y, but it's the truth. This is the part of the show that we haven't got to, but there is a whole nother esoteric realm that honestly I spend a lot of time in. Because it comes up for me. And so it's not necessarily relevant for everyone. So I don't want everyone to like run around and again, you'll know in your heart whether this stuff resonates and it's true for you. And then you can go down. Again, not to get into the drama. And I'm going to say this a lot because I think a lot of spiritual stuff is about the sensational. I don't want to talk, it's not about being sensational. It's about bringing people's awareness to these things so they understand that this exists, really to then presently, measurably make a choice and resolve. So that way you have less noise in your space or less whatever, right? So that's the objective. So I just don't want to lose, however esoteric we get, which believe me, my world is mostly and can be in very esoteric world, but I also want to have it always come back to it being very practical. So you're going to hear me always do that.
No, I like practical.
Yeah.
It can feel like
I share the very masculine side of practical. And
it is. It's like
you can get lost. This stuff, it's infinite. You can literally, it's like Inception, if you've seen the movie. I mean, you can literally get lost in these worlds and there's nothing there. It's a waste of your time. It's not the point. The point is understand what the objective is and be like, that's not where I belong. I don't want this. It's that simple. No.
Yeah, I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Right? Yeah. I mean, it is literally, and you can literally watch it unravel. That's the thing I guess I really want to share with people is that's why I always talk about this stuff being so measurable, because you can make these choices and you can use these discernment tools and you can literally watch this stuff unravel. So, and it allows you just to be, again, know yourself, know your system, understand how you give your power away, understand, really just about so you can really embody your true self better. Or more or whatever, right? It's a methodology. It's not the only methodology, but it's, for some people this is relevant because it teaches them a lot about their energetic skill set.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you, Liv.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It's a skill of how do we learn how to surrender into our, I'll call it guidance of how to unravel something or how to heal something. Like, it's a lot of practice of like, I don't have to figure this out. My being knows, or like, it's like this deep feeling of like, you just kind of surrender into yourself with the issue, with the feeling, and something will kick in and it'll start doing the healing and start doing the release, and you trust it.
Yeah, I think,
we know how to heal ourselves.
Right.
It's just getting out of the way.
Right. I think it's the desire to want to take the journey and being curious and to, really wanting to take the journey, but really wanting to be free. Right. And being curious. And then just kind of, again, that's where this whole discernment tool series kind of really started to come about, because in my own journey, I kept running into these really odd things. Like there is very few people in some cases, there's no people where I was able to navigate to understand how to like deal with some of these things. And so it's like been my own, this is what you're seeing is my own process of like 25 years of doing this, of getting into some of this, some of the stuff's obvious, but some of the stuff that's less obvious is finding the road and finding the path and figure out what works for me. And that's the whole point of this, is to be able to share that and communicate about that so we can learn from each other too, for those of you, that are doing this too.
I'm going to go to Dana, and then I'm going to go to Melissa, and I'm assuming Melissa raising your hand because I was going to go to you to the Q&A. So I'm assuming you were the same person. So I'm going to go to Dana first and then Melissa. You can unmute.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey there.
What's up, girl?
This is so exciting. Oh my God. This is the first time I've been on live, and I love you guys. I'm in such like a wonderful space right now. I know it can change.
Right. Enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. I'm just going to celebrate this moment.
Right. Exactly. Because it will change. And if it doesn't, hey, great.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, no. Yeah. So, yeah, the entire show, it's like, oh, that was me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. So where am I now? Like I'm at the point where like, I just don't care anymore. Like it does come down to choices, as you say. And almost anything that comes up now, I'm just like, no, like, no, thank you.
No,
I'm choosing for me. Yeah. I'm staying.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
Yeah. And you're doing it from that really rooted, quiet place, because I can feel it. And this is what I was talking about, the Matrix at the end, where he roots and he just is like, no. Like, oh, you just, that's such a beautiful thing. Cause I just want to point that out. Cause I think that's for everybody watching and listening, that, cause I can feel it I can feel it how you're even saying it. Cause it's just a gentle no. It's firm. It's resolute, but it's just gentle. It's like, no. And you mean it.
Yes. Yeah, I really do. Like I can really feel it. I can visualize it. It is just a rock solid.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's solid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Can you
like, thank God.
Right? Thank God it's finally a real no. God. Balls to bones. Thank fucking God. Yeah. Can you share
yes.
How you got there? Or because sometimes we don't know how we get how something changes. But I feel like it's important for you to share, like, where were you before the no? How, and then what either catapulted that shift, or what do you want to say?
Honestly, I think it's grace, and it's doing the work daily, like for hours and hours and hours. I just, at one point, because so much trauma, drama, whatever, I'm healing everything, right? Like you said. And I do really feel like everything is right now. I'm like, yes. Every dimension, every whatever, life, all of it. It's here now, and it's me, right? And I'm just ready for it. I'm just accepting it. Like, and it's very simple now.
Right.
Like I was at a point where I couldn't be in my body. I couldn't do anything, and it was all enslavement. And I don't know, the last couple of years, especially with COVID, I'm like, no way, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like interesting because I feel
want
you just like you gather,
and I want freedom, and that's it.
Yeah, you gather, and then you just kind of get resolute, and you plant, and you're just kind of like slowly like, no. Yeah. I feel it so strongly. And I think that's, again, I think here, everybody watching and listening to be able to hear that. Cause I think, cause you can feel, I can feel the vibration in you. And
Thank you.
That's
I
what we're talking about.
I almost needed the validation.
Yeah.
I don't really need the validation,
but it's nice.
But I still like it.
Yeah. Totally.
Of course. Good.
Well, and that vibration to me is the teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your words are there, but it's that vibration behind your words that carry the teaching.
Yeah. Yeah. It's before, again, I go back to the Matrix, because before you're running around dodging bullets and you're all this trauma drama and you're running around, and eventually you stop, you plant, you root, you make a choice, and you're just like, okay, no. And you're going to operate in a very different way. And I just really feel it with you. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you want to say?
And at a certain point you see, I'm just seeing patterns. I mean, obviously with my children, brilliant teachers, but just letting them go, like surrendering that.
That's huge.
Fuck, that was hard.
How old are your
but
children?
the minute I just said, fuck, okay, God, they're yours. I don't know what to do. Like I'm at the point, I don't know how to help them, right? Going through issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, Jesus. And then, watching my 20-year-old come back home, and she has just like in the space of a year, experienced what I experienced with her dad, which was, pretty abusive, addictive, whatever, and the boyfriend she chose even has the same name as her dad. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
she came home and recounted the story, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, you just healed through what took me, 15 years?
But again, the best, and part of that too, that acceleration with her is by you putting on your oxygen mask and doing your work and standing there. That's the best teacher, right? You lead by example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's so powerful in life, in your family, or with your partner or whatever. Leading by example. Do your work. You don't have to say anything, right? They feel the energetically. That's the most powerful thing.
Yeah, everything's energy, man.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful to see, because I'm like, I'm doing my fucking work and nothing's changing.
Right, but you all are freer. Great. Thank you. When is it my turn? Yeah, I know.
No kidding. I'm like, when do I get my blessing?
It comes.
I know. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Just being able to be present and feel
that freedom, right? Like you said, thank God. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. Truth and love. I mean, I just go into love. And honestly, I think that's what changes the world, just very simply.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
Yeah. All right, my love. Thank you much.
Thank you.
I'm going to go to Melissa. The thing when Dana, when you were saying about letting go of your kids, there was the image of like that pearl the metaphor I used in the beginning of like, the pearl is within us, so that if you're a clam, that pearl is within you already. And then the clam opens and we can see the pearl, right? The shell opens. And it's like, in order for us to make these really hard choices, we have to feel that pearl and hang on. Because that's our safety. It's our insides, right? We feel safe inside, and then we can have that safety to let someone else go and hang on inside, right? So I'm going to go to Melissa, and then I'm going to go to Kasha. Okay, you can unmute.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm just like, just taking in every word that everyone is saying. And it's like, it's just been taking me on and that's just how I am. I mean, I've been that way, really all of my life. You started to talk about like trauma, and that word has come up so intensely for me because like I went through unbelievable trauma, through my childhood. But it was so interesting. Like, I never got hung up on the trauma. I had this, this journey, this desire to keep going no matter what it was, and always had this feeling that no matter what it was, I got this, and I mean, it was like, people of authority or people like that would, or of supposed knowledge around, things like that couldn't, they either denied my reality or couldn't understand how I could even be functional going through some of the things I went through. I know those were all my choices for this journey to unfold, and realizing, like you were talking about, all of us having that theme. And I agree 100%, because I've seen it everywhere in the world about the empowerment, and I guess that was kind of the trigger. And I realized I've just gone through so many things listening to everything you've talked about, but I've been on this introspective healing journey for decades. And, it's like, I keep thinking it's going, there's like this fantasy that this is
it's gonna stop.
All of a sudden I'm going to hit the key, right? And then all of this is going to stop. And then, it's going to be like, that the ease and the grace and all the things that I have to like stop and just like the nature keeps me alive. I've always seen the beauty and the flow and the love with the nature. It's the, for me, it's the humanity part, but yet I feel like every little issue I work on within myself is somehow, I don't know how to describe it, but almost like when you were talking about the threads, I could feel when I would go deep into a spiral and heal something that was just such a magnitude that I'd get down in there and I'd think, oh my God, it's so intense. I didn't think I would be able to get back out. And then when I would get up out of there, that light and the lightness, it's almost like I could feel layers of humanity almost lift, not just me, but it felt like something bigger than that. And it's hard for me now because like that was also part of a driving force. Like you can't stop because you're on a
for
mission
humanity.
And you're not helping yourself, but lately it's gotten very weird. It's almost like in the beginning when you were talking about, everybody evolving, expanding, and then things are getting lighter and that sort of thing. And what's been happening with me is I started feeling like I'm on the other end of the teeter-totter, or something has felt so off, like I was more awake before. Like even when I was a teenager, I was aware of all of this stuff we're going through now. I could already see it, and I was just like, just hold the vision, hold the vision, hold the vision. We're going to get there, and like even during COVID, I just didn't get involved in any of that. I already knew, it just didn't get to me. I didn't get that because there were all these other, it just seems like those deep personal things that actually were what was leading up to where we've been during this. And it was like, no, just keep working on that stuff. That's what the key is, I guess, and then I got to the bottom. Okay, my loss of power is based on like unworthiness, and then trying to find that silk or that, the cord, or, to go back, because sometimes my energetic work has been, like I'll do generalities, but they seem to work. But then sometimes it has to be really, really specific. And I just feel like recently, like I'm on the other end of the spectrum, like maybe everybody else is moving up and getting lighter. And I feel like I'm falling off the edge down into the darkness. And I don't know. I mean, not like, I don't even know how to put that. Not like I'm not selling out or giving away or becoming dark or, but like the struggle, like even when I do the work, I can't describe it, but it's like,
it's like you're stuck in
so
some
palpable,
weird thing.
The thickness or the darkness of it is so palpable. It's like my mental body and my emotional body and everything is like, oh, it's like, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Because it's like, oh my gosh, it's so intense. It's like, I can't, I don't know. It's really hard. Like I'm not involved in day-to-day living like other
Right,
people are
right.
because this is going on intensely. So I guess I'm a little, my question might be, I'm a little confused and maybe looking for a little validation. I don't know if that's really the word.
Can I say what
Yes, please.
what I see is going on? Somehow you've gotten yourself in a little dark, weird place that you're stuck in.
Yeah, feels like
You
it.
got to get out. And it feels like for whatever reason, like let's say with all your energetic travels, you got stuck somewhere. And
that's what it feels like. Thank you.
So, and at first, what's interesting about this kind of thing when we're in an energy, excuse me, we're in an energy that's not, I'm already watching you going like, oh, that. You're already getting yourself out now. It's so weird with these energies because it starts off kind of like we just feel maybe heavy one day, just a little bit, or a little this, and then before you know it, it adds up and adds up and adds up, and we're like, what the fuck? I feel fucking horrible. How did this even happen? Horrible in a weird way, right? So I feel like just simply put, you got yourself stuck in some, I don't even want to call it a realm. It's like an energy and a consciousness. And that consciousness is like I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a masculine place. I don't even know how to describe it. And that masculine energy is very used to controlling things and planning things out. And it's kind of mental. Like it's like a weird mental, for that masculine energy, it's like a mental way of being. Like there's almost like there's no heart. There's no love there. There's no heart. Just all kind of planning. I don't even know how to describe it. So I would ask yourself, what in me got stuck? How'd I get stuck here? And just see what comes if you ask that.
That's so, thank you, because that's huge. That's like, even when you said that I could feel that. I could see it. It's
I watched you right away go,
like I know it.
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait.
And then
no.
I know. Because it's felt so foreign. It's like, that was the thing, like the teeter-totter. I'm like, this, the compassion and the love and the feeling, like, because that's the whole thing with me is like, I feel everything so deeply. And then all of a sudden it's been this mental, this whole thing. And I'm like, who is this? And I kept asking, whose energy is this? Who is this? And like doing all of my questioning. And it's like, I feel this energy hovering. It's like, I can't describe that either, but it's kind of like they're not, like normally, if you ask, you get an answer, or even that simple in the old days, whose energy is this? If it's not yours, you just feel it lift, right? If it's yours, you work on it. But this has been so odd and so
weird.
Different. Like I couldn't identify it.
Yeah, it's dimensional. So the thing is, when you enter in a dimensional realm, it's kind of all encompassing. So you're actually in that world, or a portion of you is in that world. So it's until you recognize it and make a choice to sort of extract yourself. That's why I go back to Inception. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to give too much away, but it's like these worlds can seem very real, and you start to believe that they're real. And the minute you believe that they're real and accept that they're real, they are real. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
The other word I
do agree with you. Once we accept it, they're real.
Exactly.
That's how we live. It's like whatever we believe.
Yeah.
There it is.
The other thing I wanted to say to you that felt relevant is the word seasons. You obviously your spiritual journey is really specific, and that's okay. Like you have your own thing. Everybody's got their thing that they're doing, and you've got your thing, and that thing has seasons. So just, put that, I guess, use that as a way to put it in perspective over the course of your life is, this realm we're talking about is one thing, but there's another thing just sort of generally from a 30,000 foot view that you have you have these seasons of this specific job that you're doing spiritually. And these, there's an ebb and a flow, just like the normal seasons. So just maybe that helps put some of that in perspective for you as well. So I just wanted to share that word that came to me.
Oh, that's great, Michael. Thank you. That was really helpful. It kind of like pulled me out again so that I could it was very relaxing. I just felt like, oh yeah, I get it. This is just part of that journey. And this is just a space that I've been working through and now, thank you, identifying so I can get that clarity and continue with.
Because you can look at all the things that you
love that. That was a good.
You can look at all the things you've talked about, and there's themes in terms about how you sort of your spiritual journey, right? And so there's an overarching theme. And I think, again, they have flavors of the seasons, right? So.
Dang, girl.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
Important information, man.
Yeah. I think that's the thing is some people, it's like their journey is really specific, like in your case, and there's some people like their journey is to be married and have kids or to do something. And that's equally as valid. And it's like, I think it's about accepting and understanding, which I can relate to you, Melissa, because it's like my journey's been really specific and it's definitely not what my mind wanted and how I grew up. And that's been a bone of contention my whole life. And when I started to accept what it was and then look at this and feel the seasons, because there are seasons in it, it just brought me a tremendous amount of peace. It doesn't mean there's not conflict. It doesn't mean there's not challenge. It just, in general, I sort of knew that like I could feel I was in the right rhythm and aligning with the rhythm of my life, which is different than other people's life.
Really different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. The acceptance of that is huge, right?
The self-acceptance, yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is me. This is mine.
Kind of with those places rather than. Because I could feel where I was feeling like I was on the teeter-totter or the push me, pull you, or the struggle part of, where I got caught up in that thing, like there's something wrong with you. You're broken. You're not doing what you came here to do.
Right.
And, blah, blah,
or
blah,
you're not,
blah.
quote, successful or whatever. It's like, all that.
Like I failed my mission, right?
Right. It's like, to me, when my mind starts going to those places, it's like, all I have is the truth of my heart. I'm going back there. And if I live that, I will be deeply fulfilled. Like that's all I have to keep remembering is go to my truth of my heart. Yeah. What is my guidance? Am I on the right path for me, regardless of what I think I should be?
Yeah, because there's kind of two layers, right? Because we're talking about one is the sort of this is your path is unique, and you're on this sort of flow, and then there's also this other layer of it that you are stuck in this realm. I'm going to call it a realm that you do need to extract yourself from. And there's like you were in there exploring, learning, understanding, but you got lost, and now you can extract yourself and understand what happened, and you can kind of post game that. And then you'll go on to your next ditty.
This stuff's so real, man.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It's like,
it's not the salad.
Amazing. It's so good to connect, because, when you're on this journey, it's like,
you feel so alone.
A place where you can connect, where someone gets it, gets truth about all this. That's huge. I mean,
that's why we wanted to create this show, because we don't feel like this is anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, where do you go to know like these weird things that we deal with? Like, we're all dealing with it.
Yeah.
Like what Destiny shared and the things and
Heather and you go down the list.
It's like that's what we wanted to create this, to create community in a place where we can come and share wisdom and like, Michael and I will have like a bunch of topics and stuff we'll teach and talk about, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like we wanted to create a place where we can all come and know we're not alone and know that this is really normal for us. May not be normal for someone next door, right? But if this is my life, this is how my being works, and that you guys get it. We get it.
Yeah.
Shit's fucking weird, man. And it's fucking real. And like, we get it.
We get it. That's just it. It is real.
It's real.
It's weird and it is real. And it's like, this is so important because like the last few days, what's been coming to me so much is like, I need to find some place to connect, tribe, right? Because I've kind of withdrawn from all of just everything. spiritual, not within my own being in my life, but just any outside kind of, because it's not resonating anymore,
Right,
any of
right.
it.
Right.
Well, and there's
I just
layers,
feel-
right,
Yeah.
to spirituality. And it's like where we all live, everybody who's attracted to my work and Michael's work and this show, like we all live in a very specific, we could say, layer of spirituality. And we can't help it.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Right. And it's like these other things just don't resonate because we don't live there. It's like, okay, I can take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and that makes sense. But deep down, I need my spiritual friggin' tribe and food, man, because it's very specific. I can't just go to, Albertsons down the street and find my gourmet friggin' spiritual meal. Like, it's just not there. I want it to be there, but it's not there. I have to find my specialty shop. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I go to places sometimes, and I don't know if it's like, I went to get a facial, like, I don't know, a month ago, and the head thing was a little too tight. So I asked her to move it. And then I asked her to move it again. And I'm like thinking to myself, damn it, I wish I wasn't Goldilocks, man. My life would be so much easier, but I can't fucking help it. I am this way, And finally she was like, I'll just leave it off your head. I'm like, cool. That works for me. So yeah.
It's so true. You said Goldilocks. I just got to say, the pee in the mattress, whatever that one was.
The pee in the mattress.
My whole life, I felt that, like, oh man, I can feel that pee down
feel that
1,000
pee.
mattresses.
Yep, totally. Can't help it.
Yep.
Thank you, love, so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you. So grateful for both of you. Thank everybody that's here today.
Yeah, it's
Wonderful.
so good. It's so good.
It is.
All right. I'm going to go to Kasha, and then that's going to be our last person. And I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm just going to, so you can unmute. Are you there? Oh, hold on. Oh, are you there? Miss Kasha? I'll give it another minute.
Yeah, while we're hooking this up, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank everybody for calling in. I mean, it's just it's amazing. We have an amazing community and really feel grateful for
it's so
everyone.
good.
Yeah.
Kasha, I'm going to unraise your hand and then raise your hand again, and we'll just try that.
The show's been a long time in coming, and I'm happy that we got this thing started. And we're looking forward to the new year. We're going to start having some guests. So if you have any ideas for guests, let us know in the comments or email us, because we're going to start looking for that. We're going to be interested in talking about their spiritual journey and their tools and things like that. That's going to be relevant to help all of us, just have a conversation about this and learn from each other.
Learn from each other.
Yeah.
Totally.
Did she?
Yep, she's back.
Okay.
All right, love, let's try again. Maybe you need to unmute. We can't hear you. So you're all set to talk on our end. Maybe it's not meant to be. Let's just try one more time. I'm going to lower your hand, and I'm going to disable talking from there, and then raise your hand again, and we'll just try one more time. And if anybody else has anything you guys want to share before we end, because we're getting close to our end now. Okay, I'm going to click allow to talk one more time. And unmute on your end. Must not be. Oh, try this again. Come on. Yeah, you're all set to go, love. We can't hear you, though. Well, I guess it's not meant to be today. It's not working. But I'm going to just leave this on just in case as we kind of say our goodbyes. So I'm just going to read some Q&A here. So Barb says, love this group. It is rightful to choose me, joy, freedom, health, and love. Amen to that. Eileen Uma says, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Lisa says, I'm so grateful for you both and the space you created. This addressed many things I'm moving through that not many people understand to talk about. Definitely love the space you created. Thank you for everyone that shared. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Lisa. Stuff's so real, man, you know? And Cherie just sends a lot of love. Emily says, can you discuss surrendering to the magic of who you are, surrendering the ego, if the shadow aspect is surrendering to full power? Then people are just sharing. Wonderful. I'll go back to that in a second. Judy says, this was wonderful. Thank you both so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Heather, much love. Bye-bye. Angela says, I loved every speaker and resonate so much. Yeah. Let me just see if we can address Emily's question before we end.
Yeah.
We gonna try anyway. So Emily says, can you discuss surrendering to the magic of who we are, surrendering the ego, if the shadow aspect is surrendering to full power? Can you discuss surrendering to the magic of who we are, surrendering the ego, if the shadow aspect is surrendering to full power? I guess I would want to ask you to clarify. Can you type in more about that? Or if you want to raise your hand and we can talk about it, if you're still here. Oh, there she is. Okay, you can unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi.
Well, I'm realizing that this sounds kind of scary to say, but I'm realizing that I have more power than I am willing to admit to myself. And sometimes that just feels really scary to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know how to deal with that sometimes, because I know there's a lot of magic in me, but sometimes it's just so overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. I want to say actually one thing. So the fear that you feel of your power like that, what percentage of that fear is even yours? What do you get?
You know, I don't even know. I would say a lot of the fear has been conditioned in me. Like a lot of the time I didn't even know I had this power.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of the shock of not knowing and then wondering if it's real or not. And
you know it's real, right?
People have been confirming it to me, but it still doesn't feel real, like that I would be gifted this power of mine.
Yeah, I would say, like, when you talk about this, there's this image of you and then like a line and then a different reality. And it's like this reality, this new reality for you is right in front of you, which is where you're going and where you belong. And the part of you that's outside of that or right in front of it, like you said, you have these mental conditioning patterns of, no, it can't be, not me, right? But then some of the energy isn't yours because you're about to really believe. And so you're bumping up against these weird kind of layers before you fully take the dive.
Yeah, you have to do at some point you have to do the Nestea plunge. If that means anything to you. And by dating.
I don't think I know what that is.
Oh, okay. You have to look at YouTube. It's from the 80s.
Yeah.
Probably. It's about really choosing to be all of who you are, right? Because I agree with Amajam. There's energies that, of course, don't want you to step into, probably family members, because that's what it feels like, that don't want you to step into your power.
Well, and there's religious and
there's
all the old stuff that you've been brought up with. And it's like,
there's a lot of structures that you're that are adhered to you that don't necessarily need to be, but they are because you haven't quite fully 100% made the choice to step into who you are. I understand you're afraid. That's actually healthy. I think that's a good thing. There's a layer of that because with great power comes great responsibility, as they say, and I believe that. But at the same point, the fact that you're actually, that part of you scared recognizes that. So I don't feel like the issue truly, if you ask yourself, are you afraid you're going to abuse it?
No, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to, like, I'm scared that I'm not going to live up to my full potential that I know I can.
Yeah, that's just your mind.
I don't even know how much of that's even yours.
It's the mind, it's the ego mind.
Yeah.
It's conditioning and patterning and upbringing. And then there's the energy that's not you on top of that.
And then, and then just to mind fuck you more, there's the truth is what you think it's going to be is not necessarily what it is.
Right.
So you have this concept of what it is, and it's probably not that. It'll be, it's going to be its own thing, and it has its own magic, but your mind creates this whole story of what this is and what it means and blah, blah, blah. And as you walk forward in all this, you're going to find that a lot of that was just story. That's
and you don't know until you actually go through to look back and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And once you go through, you'll be like, oh my God, what is I waiting for? It's so easy.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you're in the thing I want to add too is like this image of like, you just wrap your arms around yourself because you're in this amazing process that you cannot repeat. Like it can't, like this process that you're going through now, right in this very second, is so sacred and beautiful because this is the caterpillar butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're not supposed to just ramrod through and push yourself through, or else you would have done that.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like you're going through such a sacred initiation of self and of this like magical energy that's like calling you, right? Because it's calling you. You can't unhear it. You can't make it stop, right? But this like, the sacredness of this very moment right here will never be again. Mm-hmm. This is my process of learning to have all my conditioning and all the mind and all the fear. And I'm like facing it and going through each layer and going forward. Like it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And choosing each layer, right? Because it's like saying yes each kind of step of the way. And that's going to be, there's a purpose. I agree with you. There's a total purpose and why for you. It's like you take the step and then you have to sort of say yes. And then you take a step and then you have to sort of say yes. And there's a reason for that incrementalness. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you for getting to my question. And I feel so much comfort and just knowing that I just need to let the beauty unfold on its own.
Yes.
And to enjoy that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this never comes again.
Yeah.
What you're in right now.
You've got this.
The beauty. I just don't even have the words for it.
Just be clear, keep making choices. And to know deep down, just like you said, I want to remind you of that, is I understand that the power seems overwhelming and that you're scared of it, but at the same point, just as you quickly answered, that you know you're going to handle it appropriately, otherwise it really wouldn't be given to you.
Yes.
So you can rest.
Yeah, remember that.
You can rest in that. I mean, it's not to say that when you have the power, you could just be like, well, fuck it, I'm just going to wield it in a bad way. Of course, you could always choose that, but that's not really at your core. That's not who you are. Because you're already thinking about that. It's the people who don't think about that. Right. I'm not going to name all politicians. No, anyway. But
don't even go there.
The point being is, it's like, you're actually asking the question, which is the critical piece. It's the people who aren't asking the question that's the one that you have to be nervous about.
I used to have this teacher a long time ago where people would be like, I think I'm crazy. Am I crazy? And he'd be like, if you're worried you're crazy, you're not. It's the ones who think they're not crazy that we have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that vulnerable, because it's really vulnerable.
Yes, thank you.
Like you're literally consciously going through your transformation and awakening. Like that's a gift. That's the magic.
And you are so supported.
Yeah.
I just feel, even from my being, I just feel the support, just kind of holding space for you to like go through your process. In a rightful way, obviously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. I think that's going to be our show for today. I just want to take a moment before we because that was a beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for interacting with us and sharing. And this is to me, this is everything. We share with each other. We learn from each other. It's just so good. So good. So good. Oh man, can you believe we are at the end of 2022? I saw a thing on TikTok, if you guys want to see it, because it was hilarious. It was so true. I posted it on my Facebook, Gem Rose. It was, I can't remember the actor's name, but it was he was going in, he was just kind of going forward, and the caption read something like, I can't remember what it was now. I'm not going to pretend I didn't have 50,000 mental breakdowns in 2022. And I'm, going into 23, it's and it's it just so spoke to me, because this year, more than any, in such a different way, has been a humdinger, right? On stuff we've had to face and go through and feel. Holy shit, it's been just incredibly deep. And we're only going deeper. Only going deeper.
I agree.
And, as far as a group power healing this week that I hold every Friday, mostly, I'll be tuning in tomorrow. I know Spirit wants to do something for the new year. They may want to wait till Sunday and actually do a session on Sunday and help you guys anchor in the new energy as we begin. We may even do something Sunday and Monday. I don't think they want to do something on this Friday. I think they may want to wait and meet us where we are on Sunday and help you guys really just, take the new leaps and anchor. So I'll just see. I got to tune in tomorrow and see what they want to do. So you're on my email list, and I will email you whatever that information is once I have it. If you're not on my email list and you'd like to be, go to amajamhealing.com and you can sign up there. And then our website is livingyourawakening.com, and Michael's site is on there as well as mine. And I'm probably forgetting to say a bunch of stuff, but I don't know now. Do you want to say anything?
Just, I look forward to seeing all of you in 2023. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for being a part of this community and supporting us, and your comments. We read all of them, and joining us. Just really appreciate that. And share this with anybody you think that might be that's going to help them. We'd love to build the community.
Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Be gentle with yourself and patient and kind as we go through this unknown spiritual butthole out the other side. All right, my loves. I see you later. We'll see you in 2 Tuesdays. Bye for now.